Hey there, everybody. I am doing a series of interviews with the amazing people I get to be in business with, celebrating them because honestly, I wouldn't get to do what I do if it weren't for my partners across the country. Today, I get to chat with one of my business partners in Minnesota, of course, my home state. Kimbra Ness has been in real estate for a lot of years. We were at previous companies before. We've always kind of crossed paths. We recently found out that we kind of share a little bit of the same story in our faith and got reconnected and are super excited to be in business together in Minnesota again. And so we're just going to have a little chat, and I want you guys to know more about Kimbra and what she has to offer. And if you're looking for real estate in Minnesota, if you're looking for a referral partner in Minnesota or anything else, if she just resonates with you, then you'll know how to get a hold of her. I'll put all of her contact information below the video. Thanks for joining me today, Kimbra. I'm super excited to be in business with you, by the way. Welcome again to eXp Realty and the Growth Collaborative in Minnesota.
Well, thank you, Cari. I am so enthused and excited to be a part of EXP. It just really, having joined the first part of the year was a perfect time to jumpstart the new year and just re-energize my business.
And you know, that's a good way to start this because I always believe that over many years, we get used to what we get used to and we know what we know. We also, change is an inevitable thing. It's also an innate human need. And sometimes people resist that, but I think the strongest of leaders know that that always keeps them on top for themselves, their own growth, which is always going to leak into their relationships, their clients, and everything else in their life. So I'm super excited for you, proud of you for making a change when you knew it was time, and it's going to be a great year. So, Kimbra, tell us a little bit about yourself personally and also professionally when you got into real estate, all of the good things.
Well, I am born and raised Northern Minnesota gal. Went to college, graduated with a pre-law degree. Thought I was headed to law school, and then a major event in my life happened. I got leukemia, and so yeah, it happened just an awakening, and that's again, I've always been a faith driven person, but that was definitely a turning point in my life where my faith became just really molded who I am. I am 100% Norwegian, which
Love it.
good, bad, or indifferent. That's what it is.
Do you like
And
left spot?
well, we make lefse, Fatiman, krumkaka, rosettes.
Love it.
Yeah, we kind of put the lutefisk to the side.
Yeah.
That's not as yeah, we don't do that much. Any if my when my grandmother was alive, and so yeah, I grew up northern Minnesota with a lot of Norwegian traditions, and I'm very grateful and very thankful for that. And in fact, my grandchildren even say the Norwegian prayer. So
Oh, that's
we are,
amazing.
yeah, yep. I have 4 children, and they have all their spouses or significant others, and I have 8 grandchildren.
Amazing.
So when we get together, it's a crowd, even just my immediate family. And so we have people come over just kind of to watch, just because there's so much commotion going on all the time. But like I said, I got into graduated with a pre-law degree. So I interned with a district judge in Fargo for a number of for an internship rather, and then got sick. So it kind of changed my course at that time. I was a paralegal for a number of years, and then so real estate was a kind of a natural turning point. I stayed home, raised my family, my 4 children, and then when it came time for me,
Yeah.
real estate, like I said, was a very natural progression and transition. And I think the most like I said, here stories are a big part of my life. And growing
Mm,
up, we always had the family always told stories, and I think that is what I most like about real estate
mm,
is I listen to other people's stories,
yeah.
and then I help them with the next chapter.
Mm. I love that.
And it's very fulfilling because especially where I come from, up north, they everybody kind of, the 6 degrees of separation that they talk about is very true. In fact, just talked with a client yesterday, and I'm showing them a property tomorrow, and all of a sudden it it didn't know him before, but you start talking about, you know who, okay. And yeah, there's a real connection there. And so people really start to trust you when you listen. And
Yeah.
that's a big part. I think that's a major part of being an agent, is being a good listener.
I love that. So you bring in your ability and experience in contracts and law,
Right.
and combine that with the way you were raised through connection and stories, and bring that all together, which is a really awesome way to kind of, I think about real estate is number one, you have to be educated and represent your clients in the best way possible. You are highly educated and able to do that, and you do that at a high level, but really realizing that not only is it the business part of this and the transactional part and the contract part, of course, my lights go out. But it is also, I think, the other side of it, which is people live in homes, and stories are made, stories are created. It's not just about, buying a house, right? It's about
Right.
what the home offer them and their family, and what do they really, really want for their future. Yes, it's important to have a backyard that's fenced, or, to stay in this price point and make sure our contracts are tight and that we're taken care of. But what do I really see for my family living in this home moving forward? And if you can really understand that, listen well, and ask great questions, you can really, really help people make amazing decisions.
Exactly, exactly. And that, I have a favorite quote by James Michener is, and it's a little lengthy quote, but if you don't
Yeah.
mind, but I had to find it's, the master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing, and to
Mhm.
him he's doing both.
Oh, wow.
And so that truly, just, I'm a lifelong learner. My all my books and stuff, and um, it's hard for they're like my babies. I can't get rid of them because it's like, but so it it's important to me to keep and that's another thing with being law and then real estate, is the
Mm.
ever changing
Yes.
um regulations that come into
Mhm.
play, and being able to help people interpret those as well. My favorite client is the first time home buyer, or the home buyer that is leaving and moving into another chapter of downsizing, because
Mhm.
it brings that excitement of that first time home buyer, and where they're going to put the Christmas tree, or where they're, that beginning, and that energy just is just so fun. And then to sit around the kitchen table and listen to the stories of my clients tell of each room, or what mementos they have and what pictures they have, and
Mhm.
being able then to help them make that decision, in that this is moving forward, that you're not leaving those memories behind, you're carrying them forward with you.
That's amazing. And so what parts of Minnesota do you service these ideal clients in? All over the metro area? Or tell us a little bit about where you serve people.
I have closed deals up in my hometown, which is up in Park Rapids in northern Minnesota, because it's a lot of lake properties up there. And then I'm just going into western Minnesota tomorrow. But
Mhm.
generally, I focus around the uh, the metropolitan area. I
Yeah.
kind of keep in the West Metro,
Yep.
and in Wright County. I've lived in Wright County for about 35 years.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of my niche,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to travel to where my clients need me.
Absolutely. And you have a lot of experience selling lake properties, as you mentioned. You obviously grew up in an area with a lot of lakes, and so you've serviced clients there. And people are looking to your expertise throughout the metro area or even outside of the metro to represent them and make sure that they're purchasing the right lake property as well, right?
Right. Well, and it's very important with regards to lake property or acreage, because you have to pay attention to wells and to septic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those are some big ticket items
Mhm.
if they're not compliant.
Yeah.
And so it's making sure that my clients understand that I have a relationship with the agent on the other side of the table, that we're able to make sure that it's a win-win on both sides. But well and septic, I've dealt with a lot.
Mhm.
Um, but and yeah, it's making sure that all those T's are crossed and I's are dotted
That's
in
right.
regards to that. Because where I out in the Western Metro, there are properties that are, 3, 5, 10 acres, if
Yeah.
not more.
Yeah, absolutely. So acreage, lake property, and of course, just anybody looking to buy their next home. If you're looking to create more stories through where you live, where you raise your family, where you're moving into retirement, you're starting your family, all of those things are, we know as realtors, those are big milestones in someone's life. And so selling a home isn't just selling a home, it's actually realizing the impact we get to have when people, move into a property that's going to create memories and all of those great stories. And I think, Kimbra, you're one of the people that I know just genuinely really listens to those stories and cares about them. And that makes people feel special. It also makes them feel taken care of. And we definitely know that you know how to read those contracts and you know how to sell real estate and you're very experienced and professional in that regard. So the mix of both of those things is sometimes hard to come by in realtors, and certainly things that I enjoy about you. In addition, obviously, you've been through some life circumstances, and your faith is very strong. And I believe that just makes you, to your core, just a really strong, giving, integral, and trusting person. And we continue to elevate the industry with realtors like you. And so I'm proud to be in business with you. And I thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today.
Well, good, good. And the one thing the advice that I can give
Yeah.
to agents coming into the business is making sure that you are active in your community.
Mm.
I have served on many different boards, some national even, and it's very, very important that represents who you are as a part of giving back.
Absolutely. And how much you've grown through those leadership opportunities as well, I'm sure. And when you give, you always receive more. And that's amazing. I agree. That's good advice for any agent. If you've been in the business for a while and have never, gotten involved, it could be a good time for you to do that. Certainly, Kimbra, I know you've been involved, and you're very involved in your community as well. Continue to be. And that's what we want to do as entrepreneurs. And it's fun to see you. Thanks for being part of the Growth Collaborative. I know we're doing some cool things in Minnesota. If anybody
Yes.
is looking to partner with some strong agents who just love to collaborate together, help each other grow their businesses in kind of a new way, reach out to Kimbra as well. She'd love to share a little bit with you about that. And otherwise, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the Twin Cities metro area or a lake home anywhere in Minnesota, please reach out to Kimbra. She's a fantastic agent and would represent you well. Thanks,
Thank
Kimbra.
you. Thank you so much, Carrie. I look forward to it. Bye-bye.